Hi, it's Joy and today we're going to be watching Batwoman Season 3, Episode 7, Pick Your Poison. I am so worried for Mary. She is losing herself. I'm so mad at Alice. But most of all, I'm very excited to start watching this show again, this episode of this show. A reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon. Let's go. I can't believe we're already at the mid-season finale.
This is what it would have felt like, sneaking out of the house under Jada's nose.
Yeah.
She's working with Jada, right?
Then use the element of surprise.
Is that what Ryan's done to get him so they can capture him and subdue him somewhere? I love his protective brother instincts. He's not what you think. Oh. If she's lying about him, the way he smeared the blood, there was something very sinister. He's not going to go easily though, right? This happened too easily.
You took care of your family, and now your family will take care of you. Tell me more about this favor you need.
Oh lord. The fact that she can go from like, I'm sorry baby, heartbroken because she's just betrayed her son and distrust and sent him away, to like, what's your favor? I'm stressed.
No one's seen her since.
Is there a way to cure her?
Well, if she doesn't want to use something up, was that Mary in a weird way trying to protect him?
There will.
Well, I don't.
It looks wrong without Mary here.
You just trust that she's off leash, hauling ass out of Gotham.
Your roommate happened to tell you where she was going this morning?
I didn't exactly go home last night.
It's given that you're supposed to be watching Alice. But also that's awkward because they were beginning something.
You know, Alice is making a run for it.
Alice, what did you do?
Mary.
Not what I did, but if you don't remember, it's probably for the best.
It's not Mary because she's not in control. And when she wakes up like this, she is fully herself and has no memories.
Besides, you might want to let Ryan her
Is there
little side
blood on her hands? There is, isn't there?
But don't worry.
Mary.
What you did to Ryan.
Mary. I hate this for her because she is losing herself to this
Ryan
thing.
and Luke would never put me in there.
Isn't much of a choice. I mean, you did try to kill them.
They never were planning to put you there, my love. Alice is making her feel a lot more isolated and hopeless than she has to be right now. Alice is enjoying this, and I hate it.
You could do a full blood transfusion, would you?
Jesus Christ.
But then you'd go free.
Who do you trust more right now? Your friends?
Mary, my dear love.
Away.
Trust your friends. I get why she might not.
He's trying to keep you free.
But Alice has made the situation seem very dire compared to what it
What's your
was.
type?
Sorry, signal's glitchy. Let me just widen out and see if I can get a better look.
Mary's doing her stuff because Alice has successfully made her feel as though she's alone.
Talk to me, Luke. What's going on?
I already hate this because she presented Mary with a situation that was very different to the reality of the situation. Not the Montoya part, that part was real, but Ryan and Luke wanting to just send her to Arkham and throw away the key, that was never the plan. Especially as Mary has not consciously committed any crimes yet. I'm so frustrated with Alice right now.
Here, they're scattering in all different directions. I don't get it.
Blood.
I wonder if it's starting to affect Mary when she's Mary as well, to a degree.
I need the caffeine. Oh, negative blood.
I'd be like, they want to drink my blood.
But you two are freaking out our customers with your vampire cake or whatever it is you're into.
Sorry. You're kicking us out?
Her eyes are getting greener, are they?
Sim blood type?
You know what, miss?
Oh, Mary.
That was weird.
Mary's eyes. She is losing herself more and more to it. She's less and less
It's
controlled.
about to get a lot weirder. Take another stab at it.
Hey.
Mary's losing herself and I hate it.
A bunch of shots in the house.
See? People actually listen to this, Mary.
And she gets pretty
Alice is so manipulative. Like, given all of the manipulation and stuff that has been done to Alice, that she decries, rightfully, that she says, you know, I have been a victim, I've been treated terribly, and no one takes me seriously. She's now turning around and doing it to Mary.
I just stole from a small business and I don't even feel bad about it.
She's losing herself to poison ivy. Because exactly what Montoya said, that the sweet, compassionate girl she loved slowly but surely disappeared. And that would include during the daylight time, and the night time, sorry, when she's herself, supposedly.
You gotta get a line on what's track.
If she goes full-blown poison ivy, the mayor has authorized extreme measures. At the time, I didn't realize they were talking about Mary.
It shouldn't matter who they were talking about if the
Hey,
person's...
Montoya,
When did she tell you this?
I needed your permission.
To sleep with the woman, blackmailing me, threatening me with prison.
Kind of true.
No, of course not. I
Oh.
am so happy you two found each
Fucking
other.
bumps in the road! Is he gonna end up with, like, freeze powers because this is gonna go wrong?
I love you so much.
He's manipulating her to get her closer? I'm just... Something has to happen, right? Uh-huh. Exactly what I thought. Jada! Oh. That was a brave science man. What do you think he's doing? He doesn't want to be changed. Right now, as long as he hasn't disrupted Mary's cure, I'll take it. And then we can deal with him later.
He went looking for you.
Oh lord.
I don't know where she is.
How did you get in? I told the staff at the front desk we're in our blood.
Oh god. We don't have time for this, Marcus. Go away.
Is there a problem, Mr. Fox?
Oh, he's gonna kill that guy.
Dirty on me?
Yeah, you don't need to be here. Or Mr. Jet out.
Oh. That relies on him cooperating. Which he wasn't gonna do. Oh, bless you, Luke.
That was a good shot.
Luke's injured, Mark. This isn't even a fair fight remotely. Bless you, Luke. Is Poison Mary gonna find out about this and come and help?
You were two good heads.
How else would I be able
It's
to
so just watching Mary lose, even though she's still Mary. She's not fully Mary. She's losing herself to it. Fuck, Marcus overheard enough to know.
To have your sister turn against you.
Every time we've ever seen him, it's been an act.
You?
You don't have to pretend you're not hurt.
Ryan.
He doesn't feel emotions.
This is me finally not pretending. I can't believe you bought into the whole sibling bonding crap.
Oh, you
know how
deserve a
hard it was
brother,
for me
my
to keep a
love.
straight face?
I know
Me and you against the world, sis.
I know someone theorized in my comments that Lucius Fox was going to be her father, and I don't know whether I believe that or not, but he mentioned him again that he knew him. Would he keep coming to the house if they'd had an illegitimate child together? I don't know. But just the main reason I want that to be true is because it would make Luke her brother, and she deserves that.
I don't even know what this stuff is. But being that you would have sold out your own brother for it, I'm sure it's important. And
She was helping
considering that
you.
Mom's team,
There's security cameras in here. This would never stand up in a court. So sign it, and then you can just get it thrown out when he's arrested.
the Joker was so horrible. Why was he the only one in this damn city who looked like he was having any fun?
Jesus Christ. Because he was horrible, and this city is a horrible place to live.
She told me that things can't heal unless you let them.
Maybe you should have listened to her more.
Just, you know what I did when she tried to help me? I pushed her away.
It's because you were hurting, my love.
If there's one thing that a sleep-deprived Mary Hamilton cannot live without, it is coffee.
Yeah, predictable as ever.
She used her rewards card at a GC dealer.
She used her rewards card! Oh, I love Mary so much.
That's our Mary.
We've come a long way, haven't we?
No, you haven't. You're still using Mary for your own ends.
I should just stick an embolism in your IV and finally just be done with you.
Mm-hmm. How does it feel,
Or
being on the other end?
B. Actually, that's what I'm afraid of. Hard to believe, right?
No, because
You don't
you're
wanna be alone.
still in there, and Alice feels the same way. And maybe that's part of why she's doing this to you, making sure this happens to you instead of trying to help do what would actually be best for Mary. Because, like, I feel like this is sincere from
I'll stay
Alice.
with you through this whole Mary metamorphosis. metamorphosis.
But it's literally only because she's getting what she wants out of it. Someone that's going to agree
a lot easier
that...
to trust if you weren't a serial killer.
Exactly.
Serial killer who hasn't left you, doubted you, or ignored you.
You have intentionally made sure something that Mary did not want to happen to her is happening to her. You have taken her away from people that were trying to help her. Like, yes, Montoya may well have sent her straight to Arkham, but Ryan and Sophie and Luke were trying to help her. You have, from step one, thought of yourself. You knew that if you got Mary inside, A, she could get rid of the trackers in your blood. B, you would have an evil twin or an evil sister who would finally love you despite all your flaws because she would become evil, which is, coincidentally, nothing like Mary. It would be like you taking child Beth and making child Beth you. Alice, this is not some tender, sweet moment. I do appreciate that they're showing that Alice isn't solely doing this out of kind of, haha, I'm evil impulses, but they are very selfish impulses, and I can understand the need to want to connect. But she would have made so much more of a deep and meaningful connection had she actually tried to help Mary stay Mary.
I'm gonna make you so proud.
Jesus. You should have done something about him when he was very young and murdered your husband.
Kate would have never let me do anything. At least you believed I was capable of doing more than what everyone else expects of me.
Mary might...
That knew you finally agrees that everyone sucks.
This isn't Mary. She is losing herself because this stems from a genuine feeling of being neglected and everyone taking her for granted. But they do trust her to do scientific miracles and whatnot. They do trust her in the medicine department. Kate would have done something to save Alice's life. Kate wouldn't have taken trackers out of Alice because Alice is a serial killer. Mary wouldn't have taken the trackers out of Alice because Mary knows Alice is a serial killer. She's losing herself. I don't find this sweet and endearing because I wanted these characters to try and form some kind of real bond, not this bond. And if Mary makes it back to herself, which she fucking better do at some point, this bond is not going to endure because Alice has used her and manipulated her and made sure that she was not somewhere where she could get the help, that she was here where she's being turned into something that she isn't. And I hate it. I feel so uncomfortable. Mary is being used in just the same way Alice was used. And Alice thinks this is a real genuine turning point, but she's had to literally change every aspect of Mary to get there. You know, it's fair enough. You can have criticisms of Kate, you can have criticisms of Ryan and Luke and people because no one is perfect in friendships or family. But that doesn't mean you lose all conscience. And I'm so sad for Mary right now.
I think we hit him.
I think that's a reason to keep going.
Mary, she's still in there.
A hospital. I'm sure one will come along. You don't need to be that person.
I can't just leave him.
Old you can't leave him. Remember her, the one who puts everyone's needs above her own.
Mary!
If anything in return,
Alice is destroying Mary right now and I hate it.
Sorry, hold me. Let's get out of here.
I hate this so much. This isn't Mary.
The old you, the one they can use, the one they can ignore.
Alice has used you. Alice has done nothing but use you.
First person to believe in me. Now I need you to do it again.
There they go, telling you how to think.
Alice, what are you fucking doing right
I
now?
have to be that way.
You were using Mary and telling her what to think, and you have been since you found out about who she is now.
Promise?
I would have to keep you confined until we figure something out. We can't just let you hurt people.
Exactly.
That's what I thought.
But if you take the cure, Mary, Mary's not Mary anymore. She's lost.
Mary, I am trying to save you.
Well, maybe I don't want to be saved.
Mary does.
No, this
The
is
girl...
you not listening.
No, Mary wants to be saved. Mary is the person that yesterday, when she found out what was happening to her, chained herself up so that she would not hurt anybody. That is who Mary is. This is not Mary. This is a version of Mary where you take away all the parts of Mary that make Mary Mary, and I hate this so much. You are the same person who tied yourself up so that you wouldn't have to be cured and wouldn't have to hurt anybody. But I did not think it was going to be as easy as just curing her.
I step out of your shadow and into my own sunlight.
It's taken them too long because of Alice. Because Alice helped her escape and took her away. Didn't tell them what the trigger was when she knew what it was. Alice has told her what to think. Alice has manipulated this entire situation. Everything she's claiming they do to Mary, Alice has done instead. I'm sick of Alice. I love her as a character, don't get me wrong. Fucking sick of her.
She didn't want to be saved. Well, we're not giving up on her.
No.
She's given up on us.
Mary isn't Mary anymore, so you have to save her to get her back to being herself. Because this isn't Mary. It's a version of her, like I said, but it's not a version of her where the bits that make her her.
Yeah, the Batcave is sealed. We're not getting back in there, but we have the Batsuit, the Batmobile, and not much else.
Shit.
It's time that we see the big money makers follow suit.
Jada, you need to send the proof you have that he is a murderer to the police. The time has come for you to stop prioritizing your own son's safety over the well-being of others.
A whole lot more fun.
You've created this by doing nothing.
And I was practically turned into the human version of a Long Island Iced
I know that I saw the poster they released of Mary, which made me think she wasn't gonna...
What could possibly...
It takes time to make bad look this good.
You do look good, but I hate this, because it's not you.
How you have blossomed.
Bad pun.
Now I call you to join me at the peak of greatness.
Well, he certainly looks like fun.
Oh lord. I don't feel good. I feel sad inside. And that was a really, really good episode. Please do not get me wrong, that was fantastic. Storytelling wise and where it's going to take us in the next part of the season, oh my god, it's going to be amazing. But that has definitely left me like, oh. I'm not like, what's next? I'm just like, well, now I'm sad. I've watched my favourite character completely lose herself. I've watched a character that I've spent 3 seasons being like, if Alice doesn't start to change and prove that she might change, and holding out hope beyond hope beyond hope, just for Alice to ensure this situation happened, manipulate Mary the entire time while telling her everyone else was trying to manipulate her. Just the levels of psychological manipulation and abuse that Alice was doing there really do parallel with things that were done to her at various points. And yes, okay, Mary is an adult, but Mary was somebody that was losing control of herself. I will not have a single person claim, ever, I don't know if anyone would claim this, that Mary doesn't want, like Mary doesn't want to be saved, that Mary is who she is now, that Mary is happy with this. This version of Mary doesn't want to be saved, this version of Mary is happy, this version of Mary thinks in her head, I am great and wonderful, in quite the same way that Marcus, who is very clearly not the person he used to be, he has become like a psychopath. He thinks, I'm a great guy. We know he has been affected by an external source that has changed him. It is exactly the same thing. And it's not like Mary has changed so that now she wants to dress differently or has different hobbies or something, because then you'd be like, oh, let her, she's changed, she's lost her compassion. Mary's defining feature has been her compassion. I even remember I commented on it, I think somebody commented in the comments about how, you know, Mary is so compassionate that was even being like kind to Alice, of all people, the person that murdered her mother is a serial killer. She was still offering her compassion. That is who Mary is. This is not who Mary is. This is a version of Mary that I am terrified of. I am so excited. Like, I cannot wait. Nicole's going to do an amazing job. It's going to be fantastic, but it's also going to hurt me because of how much I love Mary. It's a sort of plot line that I will enjoy rewatching more than because this, oh my god, if this doesn't end with Mary becoming Mary again, I may not be able to continue watching the show, quite genuinely. But assuming it does end with ultimately Mary finding her way back to herself, I will rewatch this plotline and I will love it. But right now I'm just in that terror of what if they ruin Mary's character for forever. But back to my original point. This version of Mary will claim she doesn't want to be saved, claim she doesn't need saving, claim she's happy. But please remember that the second Mary found out she was becoming Poison Ivy, that the second Mary found out it was definitely her, that she had hurt somebody, she handcuffed herself to a railing. Her initial instinct was, I refuse to even consider hurting anybody else. I'm restraining myself until we can find a way to stop this. That is who Mary is. That is what Mary wanted. Mary wanted to be stopped. Mary wanted to be saved. So as much as this Mary is going to go around being evil and looking amazing and being an amazing villain, Mary is not this person. Poison Mary is this person. She's going to be a fantastic villain. I hate her already because she's my Mary's in there somewhere, but gone. You know, this night that we saw, I think it was too late by the time they found her, because as much as this was her last night of being herself, she was losing herself bit by bit by bit. That's kind of what Montoya said happened to Patty, or whatever her name was, that she, I've not really seen anything with the original Poison Ivy, and I'm sorry, that she slowly but surely lost the compassionate person that she once was. It faded away, which is what we saw happen with Mary. You know, when she was fairly recent, like the transition hadn't happened that much, she was herself. She didn't want to hurt anybody. She was trying to stop it. By this episode, she was kind of being like, oh, you're a serial killer, Alice. You know, I should kill you, but, you know, I want a connection with you. I care about you. I don't want to be alone. Now, that part of Mary, I'm sure she's going to like having Alice along for the ride, but I do wonder whether she's going to end up, I don't know, more than Alice can handle. I don't know. We saw her bit by bit being willing to use people, being willing to hurt people, being willing to leave someone, not dead, admittedly, but leave someone stranded. Now, obviously, I don't know where Mary's lines will be now that she's fully transformed, but we watched her as she got more and more lost over the course of this episode, all the while claiming, but I'm still Mary. That's the problem. They needed to figure out a way to just shoot her with like a dart that would give it the cure to her, because they relied far too much on Mary being like, oh hey, yeah, sure, I'll take it. I've just been on the road with Alice, not trying to be found, but sure, I'll take the cure, easy. Anyone that just, I do know, so my heart is broken for Mary. I cannot see a way to defend Alice in this. You know, I can understand that from a pure psychological standpoint, she always feels alone, and now she has an evil sister to be with her, and she's moulded her into just who she wants her to be. But that's not a good thing. That is not something that a person who deserves to be let free on the world does. You know, I 100% agree that Arkham needs to be shut down and replaced with a proper facility. But Alice is a serial killer. Alice knew that this is the opposite of Mary. She knows that the old Mary would have cared about this man. The old Mary would have done something. Alice has manipulated, lied, used Mary every step of this way. She has made sure Mary did not have the chance to fight this thing and stay true to herself. And I hate it. I hate it. And I think for me, it really goes against Alice's, a lot of my previous, you know, like, I did want Alice to redeem herself. I did want Alice to become more of an anti-hero rather than, like, a villain. You know, I had so many sort of ideas about it, and a lot of that was because Beth was a good person. And had nothing happened to her, she would have remained a good person. But it was circumstances, it was a self-defense mechanism, and then it was circumstances that made her the way she was. And I've been waiting for a sign that she was willing to make that change, and this is the opposite of that. You know, the fact that Mary was being even vaguely compassionate with her, had Alice started to lower those walls a little bit, like she freaking did now, Mary would have responded. And again, she murdered her mother. Alice, I don't think, could have ever expected Mary in her right mind to just fully be like, I welcome you as a bosom sister, we are soul sisters, because she murdered her mother. But I do think that the kind of compassionate, loving person Mary is, there would have been a line there that they could have reached. They could have made more of a connection that way, and that's what I would have been enjoying. So while I'm enjoying this as a plot line, it's causing me a lot of pain. I've been in this pain a lot because, like I've said many times, if I have a favourite character, 99 times out of 100, they get them, this happens to them, this sort of plotline happens to them. I know this familiar feeling of what if it's not fixed, what if she dies, what if she stays evil, what if. Now, I think the best plotlines like this are the ones that, maybe even in season 4 or some point in season 3, you have Mary getting herself back and reeling with the what did I do, what have I become side of it. And then them also having to deal with that while a lot of what she did as Poison Mary is not Mary, and there is no one at fault for it, part of why it was able to happen to her was Alice, which should be fucking dealt with, but it was also because her friends were taking her for granted, and they've realised this and they need to kind of apologise to her. You know, that is a really rich plotline, so I'm fingers crossed that we're going to get that plotline as well. But this has also made me, while I'm desperately sad for Mary, I'm done with Alice as a character. Like, I still enjoy her. This is never ever an attack on Rachel Skarlston. She's done such a fantastic job. She's made Alice such a likeable villain that a lot of people forget that she's a villain. And I've been really hoping that her working with the team this season would at least be the conduit for her to grow, and instead she has just proven all my worst fears right. So currently I'm done with Alice. And I'm kind of at the point where I'm like, I don't see an avenue for her in season 4. What's she gonna do? Show up, be like, oh, poor me, haha, I'm evil now. Oh, no one understands me. Why are you locking me up? I've only killed a few people. I've only brain manipulated and helped brainwash someone a couple times. Why are you locking me up? Where is Alice gonna go from here? Like, as a character, it would be kind of like in The Flash or in Arrow, every single season you had the same villain again and again and again. So I don't know what's happening there. I'm loving this plotline, but it's also causing me a lot of pain. I'm glad Luke realised he'd been taking Mary for granted, that, you know, again, I am cross with him for how he treated her, and I'm glad he's recognising that, but he was also in a world of pain, and it's not always easy when someone tells you you're struggling with something like a PTSD type reaction. If you think you're fine, it's not always easy to hear that. You're not going to be the most receptive to it. But I'm glad he did realise his mistake. And even Ryan is kind of realising that ever since she arrived, Mary has been the dependable best friend. I know that was something that solidified her place as my favourite character last season, was when everyone was mourning Kate and she was mourning Kate. For so long, Mary was everybody else's like, everyone else was able to lean on Mary with their grief and their fears, and she was just struggling alone with it. She's such a compassionate person, and that, now it's so hard because when you're a giving person, when you're an empathetic person, someone who cares about others, who puts others first, who is compassionate towards other people, it is easy to be taken advantage of. It's harder to be assertive about your own feelings and needs and what you want, and it's very easy to be taken for granted of, to not be heard. And Mary has struggled with that to an extent. Part of that in season 1 stemmed from her image being the party-going, flighty socialite, when Kate took her a lot more seriously when she realised she was running an underground clinic for the underprivileged. But Mary, as Mary, could have grown in her assertiveness, could have, you know, had a few more moments of, you're not listening to me, this is the thing, like, you know, as the team doctor, should have sat down with them and said, I'm the team doctor, what are my rights? Because, you know, like in a army or whatever, a doctor can say that soldier's not fit for duty, and then they can't go out, you know. I feel like Mary could have come to her own way of making the changes. They would have realised what they were doing, because neither Luke nor Ryan are horrible people. They both love Mary. They just were so wrapped up in themselves that they didn't think about her, which, again, they could have dealt with in a proper way. But also, this whole, like Alice's whole, every time Alice has manipulated Mary about them neglecting and ignoring her and her not mattering, etc., it's so that idea people have of, if you are a soft person, if you are kind of sensitive, or you care about other people and you do want to put them first, that makes you weak. And it doesn't. It can be a real strength. The only thing is learning where the barrier needs to be, because you need to have some kind of a barrier so that other people's emotions and things don't press on you too much, so that you don't carry more than you are capable of, so that you can be there for other people, but so that you can also, sometimes when you need them to be there for you, you can get them back. And that is hard, but you are fracking strong because you're able to do it. Much stronger than someone like Alice, who refuses to let her walls down to anybody apart from a villain. So I don't want, and I don't think the show is making the claim that Mary is weak, but I just think, like, that idea that because Mary is someone that is so compassionate and helpful to others, that she's therefore weaker than them, it's not true. It's just that people, when they're wrapped up in their own problems, they will forget those around them, and that is something that hopefully will change going forwards. I love Mary, I love her character so much, so I'm not going to be like, woo, evil Mary, you know, because I don't feel that way. I feel like crying every time I see her. Now, that being said, she looks fantastic. So excited for Nicole to get to do this, to play this. I'm excited for it in terms of, like, looking at the story and removing my favourite character biases from it. Very excited. But also, like, please know my heart's going to be breaking until it's resolved, and then maybe I'll have to go back and rewatch it so I can just fully relish in the plotlines. Alice, move over, I'm done. Then we have Marcus and Jada. I will admit, because my favourite character was, you know, losing herself bit by bit, when I was watching this episode, there was a decent part of me that was like, Marcus, go away. Marcus, not now. Deal with you later. But such an interesting plotline. Is he going to become like a Joker Mark II? Now, it's so interesting, isn't it? Because there is that human instinct of when someone you love has done something wrong, you want to protect them. You want to shield them from any consequences. You want to protect them so they can have a life. Especially when they've done the thing that's wrong because they're mentally ill, or because something has been done to them that has altered them. You know, Jada wanted to fix Marcus, not to make him not be who he was born to be, but to make him be the person he was born as, to fix him so that he had his same morals and his compassion. But she should go to prison for having evidence, fine. She has a tape that shows him murdering his father. There will be Wayne, I'm sure by now Marcus has destroyed it, but there would have been Wayne security footage. There'll be Turian Industries security footage backed up somewhere that shows him murdering people. I do believe that there is enough evidence that if they're willing to out him as a murderer, it's out there. He's not exactly careful, although maybe he will be going forwards, I don't know. That it's time for her to put what's good, for the greater good, above her son. You know, when she was trying to think, like, oh, he's only killed his dad, and he was very young when that happened, and she was trying to kind of find a solution before he got out of hand. He is out of hand now, so I don't know whether, maybe if they did that he would just buy off the judge or something, I don't know. But I would like to see Jada taking some responsibility and some agency for her own actions in allowing Marcus to reach this phase, allowing him to reach the point of dangerousness where he was able to break free and that way murder several people and then steal a company. And if this doesn't bring Bruce Wayne back to be like, wait, what? I know I've just abandoned my company for 3, 5, 10, 15 years, but what? I am stressed about the fact that we've lost the Batcave, but again, I think surely it's going to have to, either Bruce is going to come back, and ultimately I feel like Marcus is going to get revealed as an evil guy, so the sale won't go through. They'll reveal he was threatening, blackmailing Ryan, because I'm pretty sure that's not legal. Like, you know, in a court of law, if you can prove that, yeah, I signed that document, but I was being forced into it, they can invalidate it, and things like that. Maybe Bruce will come back and it will be kind of a, I'm taking back my company, and then people will be like, woo, Bruce, and it will help the stocks. I don't know. I feel like they'd be more like, where the fuck have you been, Bruce? I don't know. There's just so much. Like, basically my point is, I don't think this will stand going into seasons 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think it will stand for a good few episodes, if not all of season 3, with them having to struggle with their limited resources, limited access to resources that they took for granted for so long. No Doctor, no Mary, like, they are struggling. We are on the back foot, and that is part of why I feel, for me, this finale really left me like, oh. It didn't leave me like that because it was bad. It left me like that because so much has gone wrong that it physically hurts me and it stresses me out, and I'm going to have to wait, I'm going to pray, please be January. I'm going to wait God knows how long for the next episode. So yeah, Marcus is doing a fantastic job as an actor, and every time we've seen him, he just seemed too good to be true. It seemed too black and white that Jada was the evil villain and he was the perfect brother. The fact that he mentioned Lucius Fox, like he knew him to Luke, does make me think like he could be Ryan's dad, just because that is a mystery still. But at the end, also, part of why I'm like, I don't think so, is just because I know sometimes in shows, or back in the day in shows, there was the trope of like, if characters were black, they had to be related. Like, you know, I remember in How to Get Away with Murder when someone suggested that Wes was Annalise's son, and they were like, yeah, because all black people are related. Just, you know, it's a bit much, but they are characters whose lives are very intertwined, so it wouldn't be out of the realms of possibility, in my opinion, in this case. And I would like that in the sense that Ryan and Luke have kind of already developed that kind of a bond, a sibling-y bond. They'll bicker with each other, and then they'll love each other and do everything for each other. They'll tease each other. It would just be the most natural thing in the world for them to develop a relationship as named brother and sister, but even if they're not, they have that already. That's still a possibility in my mind, because he brought him up again. And it's almost like I wonder if Marcus knows this information, and so it's one of the many things he's holding to use at a date when it will cause the most pain. So yeah, this was another very, very good episode, but another very, very stressful episode. I can't believe it was the mid-season finale already. I swear it's normally like episodes 9 or whatever. I am not currently watching The Flash, so if you've watched this far, hello, thank you. Do let me know if Ryan does anything relevant in The Flash, because I'm pretty sure she's in the crossover. I haven't seen The Flash since, I haven't seen the last couple of seasons of The Flash. But yeah, I'm sad now. I'm gonna be sad until we get the next episode. No, this was, like I said, my feeling kind of about it is purely because it was done so well. Like sometimes when you watch a show you feel like that because something was done badly and you're disappointed. It's not that. It is just purely that I'm like, what are we gonna do now? And I'm gonna be left with that feeling. But yeah, stressed for Mary. She's gonna make an amazing villain, but Mary is not the villain. I'm sad. This was a brilliant episode. A reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon along with all of my reactions. And thank you so much for watching.